Yeah, well, of course, if they hit a car, it does a lot of damage to the deer itself and, of course, the car. I was on the radio, I didn't put what day, well, weekend anyway, the GB5RC, Radio Caroline, or the Ross Revenge, I had a little QSO with him. Blimey, we're working no end of stations on 80 metres that were, rather. Yeah, I worked him on 80 and 40, Alan. I tried to work him on 20, but he was so weak with me I couldn't do it. But on about deer, we get him up the gun club quite regular. Around the gun club, they don't take no notice of him much. Of course, that's out in the wild, isn't it? Yeah, well, you see, they get used to you walking around shooting, and they don't take any notice, that's the thing. I mean, the animals up the gun club are a damn sight less afraid of us than when they are out of the gun club. They don't, you have to shoot them off the ranges sometimes before you can shoot. That's humbug, that is, isn't it? Especially the pheasants, they're really tame, they are. They'll come walking by you and take no notice. It's having a funny, really, All right. But Radio Caroline over the weekend, and GB17 Yankee Oscar Youth on the Air. Yankee Oscar Tango Alpha, that's it. I never listened to that, but I listened to the bloke, and I thought, well, I have to work him. I worked I worked him on 40 and 80. The Youth on the Air, that was from Gilwell Park. Oh, right. The Scout Camp headquarters lot. Yes, quite, yeah, that's it, yeah.
I didn't go on the radio, so I'm certainly don't think.
Well, I did a lot of listening on 4 meters. I thought, well, I will have a bash at it, but, well, as I say, all I heard was the GB2 RS news at 10 o'clock in the morning, but then, of course, it went out in the afternoon, so that was that.
It's funny with these bands, isn't it? You've got all these bands. It's probably got too many bands. I mean, there's probably little groups that do them. They always seem quiet, don't they? About 2 meters, I guess. But I had 4 meters up here, and you're very rare hearing it, apart from little groups, perhaps, that come on a bit like we are on here. What's the audio? This is that other mic I was telling you about. How's it sound, Alan? Or anybody?
Well, it's got a lot of top in it, and you've got really a bassy voice, mate.
Yeah. It sounds like Roy, do it?
Basically, you could say that, yes.
It's probably good for DX and nothing else.
Yes.
I'll put the other one back.
Yes. What do you say, Dave? I won't pay any attention whatsoever to what his audio will like, as long as I can copy him, I don't bother. Tell you another station I worked over the weekend, Alan. Radio Victor 3 Yankee Romeo. That was General in the Russian airport. No, it's gone. But we did up at just about at this stage. Unbelievable. Oh, really? I'm driving with about 3 watts this morning. Oh, right, yeah. Right, Frank, now I'm listening to you. Give us a blast, mate, for a second or two.
Oh, well, this is the mic I've been using, right? And what I'll do is, I'm going to say it's just starting to flip the other one in, so just bear with me. Right, this is the one I was trying out that Alan says is very toppy.
Oh, yeah. Put the first one back on again, I think, isn't it, right, Alan?
100%, mate.
Right, well, I found it rooting around for something, so I'll put it back. I'll put it back where I found it, and I forget about it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you go. I've got loads of mulch now, you know.
Well, funny enough, so I'm buying it in a pot. I'm paying a load of bread, so of course I had them. Yeah, well, there you go. I bet they don't fit none in your radios now, do they?
Well, yeah, I've got one or two for the old brews. That's about it, but I've got about... God, I must have a dozen mulch getting on that one. One way and another.
We put an Avo Miner, Fred's old Avo Miner on eBay, and we've had an inquiry this morning, would I send it to Canada? Well, certainly, it's only a little thing. He seems to be chuffed to bits that they were one a little Avo Miner. There you go, mate.
Oh, yeah. If you send it to Canada, it'll go by the global shipping bit, won't it?
Yeah, right, I would have thought so, yeah.
So you pay for it to go to Leeds or wherever it is. Well, I tell you what, I didn't realise how much eBay... I'm sold quite a lot of stuff over the time on eBay, and well, I sold all my Morse keys, but they put the charges up, haven't they? Bloody expensive now. I don't think I shall sell anything else on eBay.
Oh, right, noticed that.
You have a look, it's about 9-something%.
Oh, is it? Well, if it goes out such a big wide area, doesn't it?
Well, what I was told the other day, they charged me over 300 quid for.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, of course there ain't a lot of money on a fiver, is it?
Sorry? Oh no, don't on a fiver, that's unnoticeable.
That's what we put on this Avo Miner. All little things I'm selling at the moment, so...
Wonder you've got anything left.
Yeah, and as well, you see, I have a PayPal charge as well.
Oh yes, absolutely, mate, yeah, oh yeah. But the only thing is we look at it that it's all, unless it's... The trouble is, if you say come and collect, it does have to reduce the amount of people, doesn't it? But, yeah, well, there are things, Frank. Like I've got, there's a low pass filter I've found in a copper-clad Edison box with some lovely coils in. And I thought, well, I might as well plug that, because I don't want it, you know. Don't even know. Wait, I'll just have a look, see what else everybody else is selling them for, really, and then put the price to get rid of it, really. I mean, I got rid of his oscilloscope. I think we got 18 quid for it, but we made a bit on the postage. The bloke wanted it posted to Northampton, but there you go, I did it, so he was happy, so that's all that matters, isn't it?
Oh yeah, but yeah, it's they'll take a bite out of the whatever you sell it for. But like I say, if it's not a lot of money, then it's not bad. But like I say, if you're selling something for $1 or $2, then I would imagine they take a fair old bite.
Well, yeah, right. That, as Dave said, there's a bit of eBay a lump they take and PayPal and all.
Yeah, well, you see, I thought that was a bit crafty. When they used to be together, didn't they? eBay and PayPal were all one. Then they split it. Well, of course they did. They're getting paid twice now, aren't they? They're getting paid eBay and getting paid PayPal as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know, my noise level was only a 4. I can't remember last time. Only it might be this radio. This is the 440 I'm on this morning, Dave, by the way. I don't know if I told Alan, but this is the old 440 I'm using this morning. And, yeah, the noise level is only a 4. That's the first, I think. Usually up around 6 and 7, so it's very low this morning.
Mine's about a 5, Frank, I think. About a 5. And that's with any preamps or pre-selectors off. Just a straight through. Down about a 5, so it ain't too bad here.
No, it's not bad. you can cope with that. It's just when it gets higher than that, you struggle to hear any weak stations. Tell you what, you're a thundering signal this morning, Dave. You're about 10 to 15 over.
Oh, well, we try to best. We do try our best, Frank.
Yeah, well, good signal this morning, I must admit. Where's Mr. Swindon as well, and that Roy?
Shortwave listening. Great.
Good morning, Roy.
You should be pleased with this football team because they beat Carlisle at the weekend.
Well, of course, the lower division starts a week earlier than the Premiership, don't they?
That's right, yes. Yes. My team's match was postponed because the other team hadn't got all the safety regulations in properly met, so they couldn't. Well, I should think most of the fans were already on the way. It was not a very good thing, really.
No, it's not, is it? Anyway, right, the sun's come out now you've come on, and it's 15.6.
Hey guys, good morning. You're done better than us. It's a little bit of breeze. It's very thick cloud here. In fact, it's quite fragrant. It's bleak. And it's 60 degrees, which is practically exactly the same as you, Frank. And thank you for your picture of the dog. What breed is it? Is it one of those very short, bristly haired ones?
It's a cross boxer with something else. It's got a staffy sort of shaped head, but it's obviously bigger, so it's some sort of mastiff or something like that. But it's not a very good picture. I'll get a better one and let you have it. But I think she looks. I don't know. She looks a bit of a status symbol. You know these sort of dogs and that. But I tell you what, she's a gem. She's dead soft. Kids, everybody. Don't even bat an eyelid with the cats. So I think it's lived around cats as well. And she's very obedient. And she's settling down after 2 weeks now. So she's still a little bit nervous. I don't know if she's been mistreated or just she's for breeding, because she's still expelling a bit of milk. So I think she's not long since had pups. And but the story goes that the owner has got first out the house. So that's why she was being rehomed. So we're actually going to adopt her. We're waiting for the papers, and we're going to keep her. She's such a good dog, and she's a good house dog. She barks like hell when she is and we're coming in. So but other than that, she doesn't bark. She's good. Anyway, I'm glad you got the picture, Roy.
Right, so she's got quite a placid nature then under normal circumstances.
Oh, very much so. She's very obedient. You know, if you tell her to come or, lie down and this, that, and the other, she's very obedient. She's really good temperament. And, she's a lovely brindle type. She looks like a tiger, very striky, very unusual sort of markings. And, but she's not long since I've pupped, so as soon as we get the papers and a doctor, we can go ahead and we'll get a spade, because we don't want bloody pups running all over the house.
Every dog following. I noticed the reply from Mr. Swindon. Is it quite a big dog? It's difficult to tell from the photograph. What is it, sort of 2 foot at the shoulder?
I would guess so. It's about the size of, boxers. They can vary in size. They're about medium-sized boxer size. There is a picture I could probably send you that would give you, with me stood up at the side of her, so I'll give you an indication. I'll send you that one.
Yeah.
No, Mr. Swindon?
Yes. Is that Paul? G3WEF. Good morning, all.
Morning, Alan.
Morning, Alan. Morning, Alan. Yes, good morning, all. I've been listening for a few minutes, and first of all, when I came in as switched on, I heard Martin. So nice to hear you out, Martin. Hope all is good and well with you. And I've just been come back in with a cup of tea and having a bit of a listen here. So there we are. Signals are all fairly good. And Roy, you're at 9, and the Northamptonshire contingent are at 9. Frank, you're about a 7. And Derek, you're about a 6 or thereabouts. So my noise is about a 5. So there we are. Hope everybody had a good weekend, but I'm particularly pleased to hear you on, Martin. G3WEF.
Well, thank you, Alan, from G1JPC. I'm particularly pleased to be here. Believe me, yeah, I'm feeling very well, apart from tenderness. I can't say enough good things about the operating theatre staff. I only said as a joke to the surgeon when I went in there, you think you could get me out for Sunday, it's my birthday, and when the anaesthetic room, he came in and introduced me to the also a consultant. He said, we can do this under a local for you. You can go home tomorrow. So I thought, oh, right, okay. But he said, don't worry, if you don't like it, I can have you out cold in seconds. So I said, yeah, we'll go for it then. And they did, and I got out on the Friday evening. So I was absolutely amazed, considering what they had to do.
Well, that's just fantastic, isn't it? There we go. Well done, Martin. You feeling okay?
Yes, pretty much so, Alan. As I say, apart from some tenderness in the groin there, where they made 2 little incisions to feed all the wires and stuff. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you are, you see. See what they can do if they really try. If it's somebody's birthday, that obviously makes a difference. But I'll just say to Derek while I've got it. Yes, a good start, Derek. Thank you very much. And I did catch that about your team. I wondered why it was postponed, but I did see the result, and I noticed Northampton got a beat. So sorry about that, Roy. So that's about it from Swindon. Overcast but bright, and I think we're expecting some rain. G3WEF.
Did you see how they got beat, Alan?
No, I didn't, Roy.
Again, after how many times have I mentioned it on the air, they scored in the 92nd minute, and it always happens.
Well, I'm jiggered. Again, well, I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah, a lot of teams, Bolton used to do that when they'd always get beat in the last, time added on. There's a few teams that seem to do it. They must, the concentration must go right there at the death.
Frank, I was speaking to Pearl on Saturday, and I sent your regards, so she's very pleased to hear from you.
Oh, thank you. That's nice. I often think about her, because she's always never forgets any sort of birthdays or anything. She's a wonderful woman.
Well, both she and Julian are diabetic, of course, and Pearl is 90 now. She's had her 90th birthday, so she's pretty frail, I think.
Yeah, it's a good age, absolutely. My dad's made 90. Yeah, very good. To answer your question, Alan, Mr. Swindon, I just noticed that you sent me a reply being a guzzler. Well, she has 2 tins a day, but she has a cup full of dried food with it. I mix it up, so that's 14 tins and some dried food. So yeah, she's not so bad. She eats it all up. She does it in one go, not like I'm sure she could eat more, but I don't want to get her too fat or anything. I don't want her too hungry, so she actually eats someone.
I only mentioned it because, as Roy said earlier, that it's just slightly difficult to tell. She looks a big dog, and when I saw the picture, I thought, blimey, you're a pensioner, mate. You can't take on all that food for the dog as well.
Oh yeah, no big deal. I tell you what, she walks very good. She doesn't walk.
Literally having worked them, I had to take one at this station, check up New Year. So I did work them on air on Sunday morning. John often comes up on the net with Willie.
That's so good. She's a very good art leader as well, so I don't have a bad thing to say about it.
Mr. Singleton, going back to your Margaret, any improvement?
Well, not as yet, Roy, sadly. Thank you. No, it's pretty much the same, Roy, and no real improvement at all. So we were warned, and that's a bit sad, really, isn't it?
Very disappointing, yes, having to endure that.
I mentioned Pearl last week, and sure enough, we normally get 2 cards this time of the year because it's our wedding anniversary today. And sure enough, on Saturday, popped an anniversary card from Pearl, bless her.
Yeah, she did mention it to me on Saturday.
Yes. I must dig out that phone number. If I can't, I think I know where it is. It's on the computer, Roy, I think, on an old list. I must dig out and give her a bell.
She would absolutely be delighted. She loves chatting to people.
Yeah, I should do that later, Roy.
To Norfolk, I've worked up some perfectly good settings, but simply for the good of getting the memories back. The only downside is that at the moment I can't access the 2 metre and 70 centimetre repeaters, but I very seldom work anybody on those anyway down Norfolk. But I think I'll leave well alone. It's working well enough on HF, as you know, so I think I'll wait till I come back from this next visit to the caravan. Because I shan't be going back for some weeks. In fact, I'll be beginning to wonder how much whether I should get back again to spend another week there. Hopefully I will, but you never know in this world, do you? Anyway, I think it's time I went to see about some breakfast. I heard Kirsty coming in with a doggy, so time to get things moving downstairs. So nice to talk to you all, as ever. I don't know who's to take it, but I'll pass it round to you, Eric. I'll try and remember tonight, Monday night, for the trim net, the lawn net, 145575. So with that note, I'll leave you all to it and pass it round to you, Eric. U0OTE, U3HW, join QRT after a quick listen. Cheers.
Yeah, your audio is okay, Peter, no problem.
Thanks for that, I'll leave well alone.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for all that, Peter. Yeah, yesterday we went to a folk, I don't know if you call it a rally. It's run by Lincolnshire Council, and it's, I can't remember the name of the village. It's on the A17 near Bayard Leap, somewhere there, a village. And we went to this folk festival, and Arthur took us. Arthur and Doreen came round and picked us up and took us to this folk festival. We've been other years, and it's a marvellous do, but there's people from all over the county, you know, singing, and they sing about 6 songs a piece, and then they move on, and there's jam sessions with
Niet goed te maken. Dus kunnen zien wat er dan met die spieren en eventueel PPP's en zo, wat er dan mee gebeurt.
Moi, je vais faire pareil après vous, là. Après vous.
I was a bit on the motorbike when I was younger myself. We filed I didn't. They had a crash there when I was young. Everything. That was the end of my career off a Honda 50 years so it was. But live to tell the tale.
Because everything's soaking wet.
And then we've got the grandchildren for the rest of the week, I think from tomorrow onwards.
in the pub. Barbara, if she's listening. Okay, on the setup, Jim, all sounds very good and very well organised. And I hope the weather does stay good for you because
got a series of personal things to back to anything really, so no need to record anything.
W0 CBD listening. G0 Italy United America, copy. The noise is too high with me, I'm sorry, I can't keep out there. We'll have to leave it at that, I think, unless things improve there. From MW0 CBD. Okay, G0IUA.
And everything else, okay on the tidy shack, mine's never done.
I thought it was tidy before.
So anyway, that's a topic perhaps for this afternoon, we'll see.
No, it's ridiculous here. Anybody suggest where to go? No, you take the initiative. G3 ASE and the group GCNSD.
The usual net is on 22, so I suggest trying 40. It is blank at the moment. 3740, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, 3740 it is. We'll listen to you now. G3 ASE and the group GCNSD.
Roger, G4OEV QS1.
25 net. G3 Alpha Sierra Echo calling the box 25 net. I've got local QRM here, but I hope I'll be able to pull you through it. I was just about getting you a moment ago. Right, I think they said Richard was there. Not quite sure, but if so, you'll know your order in alphabetical order, and if not, it will go to G3NSD. So G3 ASE by on the box 25 net.
I know my place.
Yeah, you stay there. Morning, Dave. Morning, everybody. I think the signal's a spectacular improvement. Doing away with the noise. What is it?
It's about S5 here, but that's not as bad as S9 plus a bit.
Yep, you're all very good. So next is will be Stan, won't it? And Stan should pass it to Rich, I think. PCN. Well, you know your alphabet better than I do. G4OAV and the group GCNSD.
G3NSD and the box 25 there. G4OEV. Okay, Brian. Well, you're all right, Noz, for me. My noise level's somewhere around about S5, and you're S9, so I don't have any problem with you, or you either, Brian. And the other two, David and Peter, was it? You're both the same, so I'm hoping to get everybody quite clearly here, because the noise level is not too bad at all. So I'll pass it on to G4PCE, I think it was, G4OAV.
Yeah, okay, Stan. I'll correct your G4OAV. I thought you were all your G3s, all you chaps are G3s. No. Anyway, morning to everybody. Yeah, everybody's a really good signal down here. I didn't have any QRM really up at the other frequency either. The usual S5 or something of noise. But everybody's fine. S9, I can hear everybody really well. Yeah, good morning to everybody. It was Brian and I would have a little natter on the key at about half. We were a little bit earlier today, but nobody joined us. I was saying to Brian about I had a few chats with guys. I'd had a QSO with a guy Roger over in Wales, and he's on 60 metres with a homebrew rig on CW, but he listens on an HRO. He presses into service his HRO, and Brian and I have been chatting about the wonderful performance of those old HRO radios, and I've been watching some YouTube videos of them. Lovely looking beasts. Anyway, but I don't know if I really want one. I've got a B40 sat here in the floor in the floor in my shack, and I don't really know if I can accommodate any more big valve old radios in my tiny shack. So over to you. Put it over to you. You're next, David. Nice to hear you. G3ZPA, G4PCE in the group.
From G3ZPA. Yeah, morning, Rich. I haven't been listening to the CW so much lately. I got used to, when it was you and Don and Brian, it was always the same time regular. As soon as I went over to Village Hall, I would take the E10 E5 with me, connected up to the aerial in the rafters and listened to it, then dashed back for 8:45. But lately it just doesn't seem so reliable, timings, so I've given up listening to it. Sorry about that. I still use my HRO with the code R85 every Monday for the club net on top band. I wouldn't be without an HRO. I've still got 8 of them left. If you remember, Noz, I had 29 of them. And you know where they came from. I gave one to the Imperial War Museum in London, one to Chick Sands. I've sold all the others over the last few years, but I've still got 8 in the workshop, one of which I've fitted up with a couple of 6 Alpha Charlie 7s, which do not make them sensitive. Wow, it's brilliant. Anyway, there we are. Okay, Stan, on the latest document on tape. Very interesting reading. It's amazing how this stuff keeps coming up. How many years ago is it now? It'll be 100 years soon before you get the last of the documents. It's quite incredible. Right, did you say there was somebody there called Peter? I hadn't heard him, but if it is, I wonder if it's YKE. If not, will you take it, Noz, from G3ZPA?
Well, I can't hear anyone, but I have got a motorboat going all the time, which is pulling signals down rather, but I'm getting all Q5 at the moment, various signal strengths. The motorboat upsets that, so there's no good reporting on it. Good morning to all of you. Here, Rick, when you said I know my place, that reminded me of the John Cleese and the 2 Ronnies, when they were talking about class and so on, and Ronnie Corbett down the bottom says, and I know my place. Well, I've got 1 or 2 bits of news. I keep forgetting to tell you, some time ago I had an invitation from Bletchley Park for veterans, and I'm allowed to take 3 guests who are also entitled to the, I think they call it a dinner, but last time it was sandwiches, wasn't it, Brian? But I wasn't planning on going. I've got haven't heard of anybody who particularly wants to go to the guest, and I don't hanker for going because it means riding there. But anyway, I've got to let them know by the 14th of August where they want to go. It's practically all women, but there's quite a lot of them. I bet 100, I should think. But there aren't many men who are still surviving. Now, I was going through some of the old records, sorting things out, and I came across some CDs of Harold Brock, G3 Foxtrot Delta. He was a well-known pre-war amateur, very active, and I think he was one of the longest-serving people in RSS. His service goes from midway 1941 to 1946. He did a lot of work. He rose to CQMS, and he kept a lot of correspondence. His son has sent me all his AB64, his attestation, Cole Adams, and then lots of replies he had on his VI logs. Now, I didn't get those. I think it's been difficult because my VI home north number included north of the Thames, London, and right up beyond Oxford, probably up to the Wash. The regional officers had huge regions. Well, there were only 9 covering the whole of the United Kingdom. And I can't imagine how he could have sent out letters to everyone. But this was the early days. He's got a number, by the way, which is below 2600. It's 25 something. 29, I mean, sorry, 29. No, I don't, I mean 25. Well, I have to check that. I thought it was 29. Anyway, it wasn't a 26 number, so he came in very early. And there's some very interesting stuff there. I'm going to put some of those letters, just 2 or 3 of them out, for you to read. I think you'll find them quite interesting. It looks as if he was using an AR-88. I don't know if that was his or whether it was issued. Right, I think that's all for the moment. So over to you, Brian. I hope things are improving your end. You saw my last email on the subject, G3NSD, G3ASE.
G3 ASC and the group G3 and SD. Yeah, well, everybody's strength 9 or better. Lars, you were, where are we? Can't see it. Yes, 10 over 9. And Rich, 5 over 9. Stan, you're only just S9, and so is David. But anyway, readability 5 thanks to being clear of the blasted QRM here, so that's good. Thanks for moving. Yeah, the HRO. Well, I don't know if Rich has ever operated one with crystal filtering, really good, really tip-top order on CW, but it's the most amazing performance. How it must have seemed like in 1935 when it came out is difficult to imagine, really. As this fellow having an ARHA, if there's just wartime, you're talking about wartime interception, Lars, I would have thought that owning your own would have been a very, very, very tall order. It would have been humongously expensive privately. That's the size and things of HROs and things. It's quite a modest size set, and it's not heavy. You tuck it under one arm. A lot smaller than a lot smaller than the RHA. I think it's about, just looking at a minute, it's about two next to each other. Back can manage turning 180 degrees. Yeah, it must be half the volume of an AR-88. I mean, it's narrower, it's not as tall, it's not as deep, and it's nothing like as heavy, thank goodness. I wonder whether your B40 actually works reasonably well. Mine doesn't. It just gives a little squeak, and it's not. It needs work, and I haven't got the gumption or the energy to do it, or the strength to lift it and turn it over too much. Dave, I don't know if it's worth giving you the CW sked. Because the only one that doesn't. Well, there's a Monday and there's a Wednesday and there's a Friday night, as far as I know. But we started a bit earlier today because Jenny thought she might join us, and it's been a bit of a helter-skelter to try and QSY at 8:45, with it starting at only 8:30. So we started at 20 past, and I think we'll try and keep that up in future for those who can wake up. I should have said, no, I think I've emailed you mostly, that Ray bounced back into life very, very quite sprightly and sharp on Saturday night, and we were hoping he might come on this morning, but I think he needs reminding because he'd forgotten on Saturday. Well, the BP, have you got a date for this BP event? No, it might just be worth going to have a free look round. I certainly don't propose to ever go for a sort of 17 quid look round, so if it's a sort of suitable day, we could possibly wander out that way. So back to it's on to Stan, G4 OAV and the group G3NSD.
G3NSD from G4 OAV. Yes, it was good to hear that that Ray has been operating. I think it was on 2 meters, you said, wasn't it? Yeah, I should imagine, Noz, that you have a telephone number for him. Maybe we should have an arrangement where somebody telephones him on Friday and Monday mornings, just to tip him off in case he's interested in joining us. The other thing I must mention before I forget it is I had an email from John Mack up in Widnes, and he's attending a meeting at Bletchley Park. I suspect it's the same one. He said he's bringing two pilots with him to steer his wheelchair. I think it's probably a couple of his mates from the aircraft preservation group locally, doing the Lancaster or something like that. I can't remember now. But so look out for John Mack. He's quite likely to be in a wheelchair, he definitely said he was going to a meeting. Whether it's the 17th or not, I don't know. But that's something else worth clearing up. Anyway, Richard, I called you Peter for some reason last time round. That's what prompted David to start listening for somebody else. That was my mistake. But anyway, pass it on to you then, Richard. G4PCE, G4OAV.
Yeah, G4PC. Yeah, don't mention it, Stan. That's fine. Yeah, I'm not that regular, am I? Coming to chat to you guys, but I do speak to Brian a bit more. Yeah, don't worry about that. I haven't been. I went over to Bletchley Park 4 years ago, and since David had left it, I think they booted David out. But I think they still had that. projector guy. The projector museum thing was there, and the little shop was there with all sorts of toys. But it wasn't sort of the most. I've seen all this Enigma stuff before, and the bomb machine. So I think it was my second or third visit, and it didn't sort of it didn't tick all the boxes for me. I must go and see this Colossus thing. I've not been to see that. But anyway, all good stuff. Yeah, Brian, my B40 still does work fine. Last time I switched it on, it worked fine. The crystal filter probably needs a bit of tweaking. I think when I've been in there and twiddled around with it, it's very sensitive to set it up, isn't it? You probably need to, be very look at the book or something and set the crystal filter up. But it does work. The thing does jump. I think after 10-15 minutes, sometimes the BFO frequency shoots off slightly, and I don't know what's going on there. Maybe there's a capacitor or something, a mica capacitor or a coil has gone a bit duff in there. But you can twiddle if you have the back off the thing and twiddle it, you put it back onto frequency. But the BFO, you know what I mean? It just jumps off frequency. Then it's okay when it warms up. Slightly irritating, but I haven't delved in to find out what's wrong with it. HROs, they look really nice radios, and David, that sounds excellent that you've moved a few on if you had so many and given them some nice good homes. But it's nice to hear them being used, and obviously this chap GW3UEP is Roger over Cardigan. He's still actively using a good old HRO on, like I say, on 60 meters in conjunction with his homebrew 60 meter thing. He's got quite an interesting website, and I think there's some photos of it. I think on his website, if you punch his call sign in, he constructs a few bits and pieces, but I think there's a photograph there with his rig, with the HRO in the background. GW3U Uniform Echo Papa, if you know the guy. Okay, anyway, chaps, I'm going to go and have my bowl of Weetabix and go and get moving. I've got to go and do some more rust repair work on my car. I was telling Brian, I've got one of these old Mercs from the night from 2000, which are prone to rusting around the wheel arches, and I have to do that from time to time to keep the rust under control. I think they were all right later ones and earlier ones, but they had a patch where they had this terrible rust problem around the wheel arches. So I'll say 73's all. Nice to chat to you. Have a nice Monday. Over to you, Noz. I think it's David takes it, isn't it? But over to you, David. Morning, everybody. G3ZPA in the box. 25net G4PCE now signing.
Okay, Rich from G3ZPA. Oh, I didn't know Mercedes rusted. You say there was a batch of poor ones. Well, my son had one, quite an elderly one, for a long time. And when he got rid of it, the body was in perfect condition. A lot of other faults with it, mind. It kept locking him out, thinking it was trying to steal it. Ridiculous. Oh yeah, there's nothing like an HRO. The best thing about an HRO is it was the finest receiver for resettability ever made, superior to the AR-88. And once you set the dial, it would always find the station when it comes up. It was a brilliant system. Each HRO at Hounslow had its own calibration book. I've still got quite a lot of those books, got half a dozen of them, but I've forgotten which one they are meant for now. But it doesn't take long to get it worked out, though. I'll use it in conjunction with the Kodar AT5 for CW. I was just thinking, Noz, Harold Brock, G3FFD, I haven't got a QSL card for him. I thought I had. I've just been looking through them all. And right at the beginning there's a nice picture of Jerry standing alongside Captain Louis Varney outside the DF hut at Hounslow. You can see 3 of the Adcock masts and the bulletproof DF hut. They're standing outside. Not a very good photo, really. Starting to fade. But I recognise it's all the DF operators from the Radio Security Service. They all got together specially. I think it was because they were trying to decide about the space loot, which they decided not to go ahead with. If you're still listening, Rich, yeah, the projected picture trust for the cinema closed certainly afterwards. I was the last one to go. They didn't kick me out. I just didn't want to stay there after that with that new management. So after the others had gone, I decided to close up, put it all in store, and I now only run the Colossus. So that I only do that on a Wednesday now. I've cut down a lot of my time at these museums. Right, back to you then. No, 73 to you, Richard. Sorry about the different times you've got. I can't keep up with them on the CW. And nice to know Ray's back again, Brian. G3 ASE, G3 ZPA.
Okay, thanks, David. G3 ASE returning. I've got the intermittent QRM, so it's blocking you out a bit of the time, and also you, Brian. I managed to get most of it. Well, if you're still listening, Richard, the reunions are now held in the Colossus Museum, and there's always a visit there during the reunion period. So you're welcome there. Well, I can send you a QSL card on the... I can email you a copy of one, David. I've got his G3FD. I've got his QSL card on the screen. The AR-88, it could have been later. It could have been post-war, Brian. It isn't dated, but a view of his rig. I think on the VI stuff, I don't think there's a photograph there. I think it's home-constructed stuff he was using. But he was quite an amateur, quite an accomplished one. Yeah, the HRO is fine, David, if you can get the crystal to ring, if you can get it spot on. The one that I bought and had to rebuild the whole BFO unit, someone had done some silly things with it. That was terrible job. I never did get it to ring properly, and I think it could have been crystals. I did try one or two crystals, but of course they were all very old, all wartime ones, and it could have been that. I did clean them, I did grind one, but it still didn't work. It worked okay as a HRO, but I couldn't get that last little bit of the crystal to ring where you can get the band down to about 1 hertz bandwidth. I'm glad that you sent one to the IWM, because they were misled entirely by, I think, the G2IZ, his daughter. I thought she knew it all, and sent them an HRO, which hadn't been messed about. I don't think it would have been like that during the war. If he had one during the war, I don't know. But things have been drilled in the front panel and things added. It was a real mess. So I hope they put a proper one on display. But I've never been back. I've never seen the display, but I don't think they were very interested in VI work. Right, that's all at the moment. 3rd of September, Brian. Sunday the 3rd of September, 9:30 until 5. That's the veterans thing, but I wasn't very impressed last time I went. So I don't know, unless there's a lot of people, 3 guests, unless they want to go with me, but otherwise I don't think I should bother. Right, it's just you, isn't it? G3NSD, G3ASE.
G3 ASE and the group G3NSD, just listening for the pilot, which doesn't seem to have come. Yeah, right. Where are we? In sort of reverse order. Yeah, I'm very keen to meet up with John Mack, North, and if you can be persuaded, it would be better to. I'll look at the calendar, because some dates which are a bit difficult, but that would be. I mean, I could think of going up to Runcorn, but it's a hell of a. I mean, I've done Runcorn on a day trip, but it's not. It's no joke. In fact, I did it on a torrential day when you could hardly see the road. It was really quite horrid. Yeah, what else? Yeah, HRO crystals, they vary a bit in frequency, and of course they vary a bit in activity. I've got quite a lot of spares of the plug-in sort, and it's worth jiggling them about. And of course it makes sense to line up the IFs to the crystal, and then it stands a bit more chance of working well. If you've got a bunch of calibration books, Dave, well, first of all, I'd like to see one. I've never seen one, and if you can be persuaded to part with one, well, I'd be very keen indeed, because I've got all these radios, and I mean, they must all have had them. I guess they're all largely black HROs in this country, or ex-war time. They've certainly got dates like 1941, 42 on the back. Let's see what else. No, I think that's enough. I'll pass it along to you, Stan.
Oh, good morning. So, dug out my nice woolly slippers, and I've got them on. So, but when I've got these slippers on, I always feel a little bit old, because I shuffle about on them. They're ones without a back. And if you try and walk properly, you end up tripping over. So, I'm now got old man slippers on and shuffling about like an old man of 95, Frank. Anyhow, very good morning to you. I hope you're well. And I've got some information on the Panther H recording that I might be able to do. So let's put it back to Abdul. G0 TVM with G0 GSR, M0 SPZ.
Yeah, M0 SPZ, G0 GSR, and this is G0 TVM. Yep. All copied there, and you actually peaked at +20 on that last one, Dave. So obviously the band is very, very favourable between us. And Frank, I say you were about 5.9 when you put the processing in. I think you said you added a bit more processing, so that sort of pushed you to the band 5.9. But that's where my noise floor is at the moment, and that's where you're sitting. So a lot more copyable on that one. Just before I go, Frank, what's the working conditions at your end, please? And again, I'm pretty sure you probably gave me your QTH, but I've not written it down in my book there. So I wonder if you could give your QTH and quick on your working conditions. G0 GSR. This is G0 TVM with the group.
Yeah, okay, Abdul. No problem. Copy, then G0 GSR. Well, I'm running the IC7300 like yourself. Same radio as yourself. ACOM 1000 amplifier, 400 watts. A little bit more because of feeder loss. And I'm using a doublet, which is just a little bit longer than half a wavelength on this frequency. But it's not very high at all. It's quite low down, and it's not exactly straight, shall we say. It has a strange bend in the middle. So probably has a very, very strange radiation pattern. But yeah, put a bit more processing on, and that should help. Hopefully, it can't really do any more in the audio domain. But yeah, nice to wake you anyway, Abdul. I don't know whether you want to disappear off for breakfast, etc. I think you said you hadn't had any, and can't wait to find out what Dave has to tell me about this Panther H thing. What we're talking about, Abdul, is there's a military communication system called Panther H, and they seem to be straying all over the amateur bands with it for some strange reason, and just trying to actually do something about it and see if anybody else knows about it. But people seem to be remarkably ignorant about what it is. It's this thing that puts the 8 noise pulses out every now and again at 1 second intervals. I wonder whether you've heard that. G0 TVM with M0 SPZ from G0 GSR.
Yep, G0 GSR, G0 TVM. Yeah, it's the first time I've heard of this Panther H thing you mentioned, Frank. So it's something to look up or find out what it is. I'd like to always find out what new things are, etc., etc. And I think you said it puts out a signal every second or so out. But no, I've not heard it or seen it yet. The only interference you get is the Russian beeper, don't you, on 3760, I think it is, in the evenings, which used to be the WAB frequency. But yeah, all copied on your working conditions, but still haven't got the QTH. I think you dropped down, you were in the noise when you first came up. So if you gave your QTH, just one more time please, your QTH, Frank, and then I'm going to leave you to have a natter about the Panther H, and I'm going to rush off to breakfast. Back to you there, Frank, for a quick QTH, please.
Yeah, sorry, Abdul, I probably forgot to tell you. I'm in Tavistock about 15 miles north of Plymouth. And you can recognize the Panther H because it has 8 bursts of noise at 1 second intervals, and they do appear at regular intervals all over the band. So if you hear that any time, that's exactly what it is. And just back to you, Abdul, to make sure you got that from G0GFR.
Yeah, did you copy that, Abdul?
I did, yeah. I copied his in Haverstock, and the said 8 bursts on that, but then he disappeared into the noise. So he's going up and down a little bit. So I've got the bits. Anyway, thanks very much. I'll leave you to Nata, and hopefully I'm going to go and grab some breakfast and maybe come back if you're still here and rejoin you. But I do tend to take a little bit of time having breakfast. So 7-3 for now. Thanks very much. Again for the QSO Dave and Frank. So have a lovely morning, and it's, as I say, the sun is shining here, and later on in probably I'm going to have a go and wander in the park as well for my daily walk. Mike 0SPZ, G0GSR, this is G0TVM signing off. Bye bye boss, thanks very much for the info. Bye bye.
Yeah, Roger. Yes, okay, Abdul. G0TVM with G0GSR. Mike 0 Sierra Bravo returning. Okay, good to listen to you and talk to you, Abdul. And please call in again whenever you hear us. We are always on from about 9 o'clock till 10 o'clock time. So if you hear us having a chin wag, then please join us. We're always looking for fresh and interesting information. All the best, Abdul. G0TVM M0SPZ. Bye for now.
Bye-bye, boss. Thanks very much.
Yeah, cheers, Abdul.
Right, Frank. What I've discovered is that on my first of all, I can take a screenshot of my SDR band scope display. And if I take a screen, save the screen, it actually saves the time and the date as well. So that would be very, very good evidence to supply to the people at the RSGB. But the other thing that I can do, and I've never done it, but I can actually record the what do they call it? The Q and not Q signal, the IQ bit of the signals, and then I can actually play the whole thing back again as a direct recording of the whole band. So I've never actually done it, but that might be even more demonstrative for them, Frank. But if I see this, if I see the Panther H signal on 40 meters, I can immediately do a screen save and capture not only the pulses, but also the date and the time. Roger?
Oh, that's great, Dave. G0GSR. I think that's what we need. The 8-pulse signal is the thing that positively identifies it as Panther H, and not just somebody blipping the microphone. But I had a look on 7 megs this morning, and there's absolutely nothing at all. But I think that's because of propagation. I can see it on 80 meters today. I've managed to do a few screen captures like yourself. I've got a pretty good screen capture program that like yours. If you save the file, it saves it with the date and time file name. So I've been doing a few of those this morning on this band. But what I found, which may be significant, is that I haven't seen the 8 bursts at all on this band this morning, but I have seen a lot of the single bursts, and they're very easy to miss unless you know what to look for. Once you know what they are, you can see them on the waterfall display. And one thing I found in common is that they seem to go off at 50 seconds past the hour. That this is just a single burst, and you can normally see on 80 meters, 3 or 4 maybe across the band, sometimes just one. It's fairly random, but they always seem to do it at 50 seconds past the hour, Dave. I'm not sure whether you've set your computer clock to be very accurate with NTP, but mine is set from NTP, and it's within less than a second accuracy. And every 50 seconds past the hour, I can see these things going off on 80 meters. But I think I've not seen them on 40 meters yet. 40 meters is the band to be interested in, because that's the primary allocation, isn't it? I don't think we can complain too much about this band. So I really need to see the signal on 40 meters, and I should be doing that a little bit later on. Hopefully we might get a little of the UK propagation, because I think these are from the UK, probably from Salisbury Plain. M0SBZ G0GSR.
Yeah, Roger, G0GSR, M0SBZ returning. Yes, well, I didn't realise that they were on 50 past 50 seconds past the hour, Frank. That's intriguing. I wonder why. There's always a sort of a wonder why, isn't there? But yeah, I noticed one this morning. Not the 8 pulses. I haven't seen any of the 8 pulses this morning, but I did see one little blip, and I wonder what that is. I assume, because normally you see a few of those, don't you, across the band? But this morning I've just seen one. Now I assume that one pulse is just the one of the systems making sure that that the others are still listening. Roger.
I think it is, Dave. I think it's when the system is being idle, it's not being used for communications. There's no communication channel open. This is what I'm guessing, by the way, because I've no idea really. Like the cell phone network does, it just keeps pinging the other end just to make sure the link is open. And I suppose that they could be tracking propagation as well. So if one particular band has faded out, they can move up to a more reliable frequency for when somebody wants to press the PTT and communicate. But I've been pasting them into a document so far. Let me just open it up, and I've got over the last half an hour I've got 6 screenshots showing. One of them has got a lovely picture of the ionosound on it as well. One of them has just got 3 on it. They're randomly spaced across the band. I'm looking at the whole of 80 meters. One of them has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this one's got another 6, and that one's got about another 6. So they quite often put groups of these bursts across the same band. But we really need 40 meters, Dave. I really need to check 40 meters. But I'm positive I've also heard them on the shortwave broadcast bands as well. I used to listen to well, they've stopped it now, but there was a broadcast from VOA on Saturday. Was it Saturday? And it came from the southern states, and it was quite weak, and I think it was on 11 megs. And I've definitely heard these Panther things on the 11 meg broadcast bands, and that's what sort of got my interest going, in that if they're walking across the shortwave broadcast bands, I'm positive there's something wrong. M0SBZ G0GSR.
Yeah, Roger, I think you're right. G0GSR, M0SBZ returning. But 40 meters is the one to go for, because that's the one where we know that they shouldn't really be there. Having said that, we might get an answer come back from them. So, yeah, well, what are you going to do about it then? Because, you really don't argue with those sort of guys, do you? And I would think that even something with a primary allocation is grabbable by the armed forces if they want it. So, but it would be it's an intriguing thing, isn't it? And as you say, if they're actually on broadcast bands, then they really shouldn't be there, should they? Oh, there's a couple down the bottom end, Frank. I don't know whether you've just seen those. There was a couple down the bottom end of, or middle to bottom end of 80 meters, and I reckon that's 10. Well, what was it? That was almost exactly on the hour, Frank. Roger.
G3OQD on channel.
Yeah, good morning, Martin. Just hang on a sec. Yes, but when they were actually transmitted, Dave, I think it was almost 50 seconds past the hour, because I saw them on my screen about 5 seconds later. Anyway, very good morning to Martin. I wonder how you are. G3OQD with M0SBZ from G0GSR.
Yeah, sorry, I think you passed it over to me there. Signal's not all that strong at the moment. G3OQD. Hi there, Dave and Frank. I wonder how my signal is at the moment there.
I made a change here, and I just wondered how it sounds there. I didn't want to upset your QSO. Back to you there, Dave, M0SBZ and the group G3OQD.
Yeah, G3OQD, M0 with G0GSR, M0SBZ returning. Very good morning to you, Martin. Thank you very much for joining us. And your signal here in Dunstable, 5 and 9, good strong signal here at the moment. And but of course, Frank and I are listening to each other on the web SDR because I can hardly hear Frank at all. But a very good morning to you. Your audio, well, it sounds a little bit like you're talking down a cardboard tube, but I'll have another listen on your next over. There is definitely some sort of resonance about it, and you know, if you were perhaps talking down a cardboard tube was a bit over the top, but there is a sort of a resonance to it. Let me put it round to Frank and see if he heard that as well. G0GSR in the group, M0SBZ.
Yes, I did hear something similar to what Dave's describing, Martin, G0GSR. You're probably not getting me too strong. You're not terribly strong here, but I'm relying on the web SDR to receive you. But would like to hear a little bit more, Martin. And I wonder whether it would be possible to open up the bottom end a little bit if you're copying. Is it possible to just give a little bit more bottom end response to the system? G3OQD from G0GSR.
Yes, okay, Frank. I got you okay that time. G0GSR, the group G3OQD. Well, no. I'll tell you what I've done just as an experiment. I dug my old rig out. It was gathering dust here, and I decided to find some space on the shelf. I had to strengthen up the shelf to support it, but I put it on there. This rig was built in the early 1960s. So it's a lot of years old. It's got valve PA and driver in it. It'll probably drift a little bit, although it's been on for a while. I just wanted to see whether we've made any progress, on all these years, whether the rig is any, is it really any better? And so it's not an SDR. It uses a Kokusai mechanical filter, so it's not adjustable. But I'm using it with a Shaw microphone. It's quite a good Shaw microphone, so that might be responsible for part of the sound. Anyway, this is the rig I used for many years, and I built it as a mobile rig. It's solid state apart from the PA and driver, which was more or less the setup in those distant days. This was around about the sort of vintage of the KW2000. When I built this, the KW2000 was around all valve. I think this one was a bit ahead of its time there, Dave. Now, I'm not listening on the SDR. I'm listening on this old rig. The audio on the receive is not as good as the SDR, but the audio's never been all that good. It sounds a little bit rough. But I think it's mainly the audio amplifier. So it's mainly germanium transistors, the audio amplifier is. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'll just give you long enough to have a listen to it. Anyway, I won't prolong the agony. It was just a sort of an experiment there, just to see what progress we've made in all those years. M0SPZ and the group G3OQD.
Yeah, Roger. G3OQD with G0GSR. M0SBZ returning. Well, the answer is not a lot, I think, Martin. I think we have. I think certainly the SDR for receive has made significant advances, and also a lot of the digital modes as well. They've obviously made radio a lot more exciting for some people. But as regards to transmitters, I don't think there's much in it. I guess this pre-distortion that people are talking about is a new thing. But in terms of talking and rag chewing, I don't think there's been much improvement. What we need is an antenna for HF frequencies that's a sensible size. so that you can put one up on the top of the house like a TV antenna, and you don't have to put something up in the sky that is that's bigger than a house. That would certainly be an advance. Some sort of plasma antenna or something. Some clever. The laser. They're always looking for new things to do with lasers. Maybe they can make a laser antenna of some sort. Anyhow, let's put it round to Frank. G0GSR in the group, M0SPZ.
Okay, Dave, G0GSR. So you were just trying to fool us, Martin, by using that nice old radio, and was I telling you to increase your bass response a little bit when you'd have to change the crystal filter? I think one of the major advances really between SDRs and the conventional ones is getting rid of that crystal filter. You're obviously, or probably, using the same filter on receive as well. It's got quite a narrow fixed bandwidth. You can't change it. It's chopping all your bass off on the transmitter, and there's nothing whatsoever you can do with it. But I think the main reason the manufacturers are going for SDRs is the cost of them. They're actually cheaper to make, isn't it, than the conventional ones? You just imagine one of the conventional high-end amateur radios with, 3 or 4 crystal filters in them? Just imagine the cost of all that compared with a little bit of few lines of code in the DSP. Copy, Martin. G3OQD in the group, G0GSR.
Yes, okay there, Frank. And G0GSR, G3OQD. Not quite such good copy there, but you'd probably be better on the SDR, although I don't know that it would make an awful lot of difference. When I first fired this rig up, it seemed very deaf. I thought, I seem to remember it was working better than that, or maybe the band is bad. But this morning, I waggled the band switch round a couple of times. It's a mechanical thing. It only covers the basic amateur bands, 160 through to 10. None of these, you haven't got 60 meters or anything like that. Well, we didn't have those bands when I built this in 1960. But after I waggled the band switch round a couple of times, it was back to normal, and it seems quite sensitive now. So I just wanted to see if it still worked. Beauty of it is you just turn it on and it comes on. There's no booting up or anything like that thing. It's on immediately. So I know some of the modern commercial rigs come on pretty quickly. It has not been used for a long time. And it worked immediately. The only thing I've had to do to this rig is to, sort out the mechanical filter and change the gungy stuff in it. Other than that, it's had more than one set of valves in it, and I think these ones are a little bit tired. But I have got some spare ones somewhere. But I just out of interest, I thought, does it still work? And I guess you're copying me, so it does still work. Maybe, if it was as good or better than the SDR, then I would have felt that over the last however many years we've been wasting our time. But at least there has been some progress, and it's quite large, really. For a mobile rig, it's largest. But I used to have it in my dad's old A35 car, and it used to fit in there. It was in the days when cars didn't have so much junk in the front, all these sort of funny things they have. Now there's quite a bit of space, and I built up a mounting frame that it just sat in there nicely, and the power supply went under one of the passenger seats, and I used it for many years, and mainly as a mobile rig. So there you are. Anyway, I won't prolong the agony with it there, Dave, and it's probably drifted. Although at the time I built this, it was probably one of the most stable rigs around. It is just a conventional VFO. It's not synthesized or anything like that. It used a circuit which, I forget where it came from, but it was called the synthetic rock. And, it was very good, but it's not as good as the crystal, obviously. Back to you, Dave. M0SPZ and the group G3OQD.
G4SPZ, good morning, gentlemen. SPZ returning. Well, it's drifted surprisingly little, actually, Martin. It doesn't sound any more different now than when you first joined us. So, congratulations on the stability there. As regards to SDRs and things, I think it's a law of diminishing returns, isn't it? I think there's when things are first invented, like when radio's first invented, or certainly when sideband came in, there was some big step changes in improvements. But these days, I think the improvements are, every new improvement although it is an improvement, it's less of an improvement than the previous one. So unless there's some sort of step change in the technology, then I don't think we're in for any major improvements. But it's a bit like audio. You get to about sort of 90-95% of supposedly perfect, and then everything you do after that is a tremendous amount of effort for a very, very small improvement. And and I think that's it's dead easy to make some big improvements when you sound terrible, but when you're sounding okay, it's very, very difficult to make those to get those final few percent. I've got a question for you, Martin. Frank and I are intrigued with these Panther H transmissions. I don't know whether we mentioned it to you the other day, but there are, every now and again, there's a series of 8 pulses at 1 second interval that happen, and it's called it's a military spread spectrum gadget that comes on certainly on 80 meters and sometimes on 40. Have you ever noticed that, Martin? Back to you.
No, negative. You mentioned it's the first time I've heard of it. I know there have been in the past all sorts of weird military systems. There was a system called Piccolo. I remember that, and many others that are for various things. Some of which have been modified and adopted by hams. I think the Amtor system, with the teleprinter things, which we used a while ago. I think that came from the military there. Dave, go ahead.
There is a good morning, David, out there. I'll be with you in just a second. Well, it's intriguing, Martin. So maybe Frank, we've become very sensitized to it, but I've certainly noticed it for quite a while. And it's not that intrusive. It's just intriguing to know what they're doing on the amateur bands. Anyhow, there was a good morning, David, out there. So just stand by, guys. Let's see who it was. Go ahead and give me your call sign, please.
Golf 4 Sugar X-ray. Good morning, gentlemen.
Yeah, hello, Wolfie. Sorry, I didn't recognise your voice there. I should have done. Very good morning. How are you, Wolfie?
Yeah, good morning, David, and good morning, Martin. There's Martin on an absolute superb SDR, and there's me on an old Tango Radio 7 by Drake. So there you are. Oh, it's a lovely radio. With knobs on it, you can twiddle it, you don't have to look at the screen. Oh, it's lovely. I really do like it. Pushes out more power as well, so that's the idea, and they get less noise, funny enough. Less noise than on the 706. So there you are. I hope you both had a nice weekend. It's overcast, dreary, windy, but it's not that cold. I'm 0SPZ, G4SSX in the group. Sorry if I'm drifting a bit.
Yeah, Roger, no problems, Wolfie. G4SSX, M0SPZ in the group returning. Tell you what, let's put it round to Frank, and Frank can say good morning. Frank, if you pass it to Martin, and then Martin, you pass it to me, and see if we can get going in a circle there. G0GSR in the group, M0SPZ.
Yeah, okay, Dave. G0GSR. Well, Martin's using an old-fashioned radio, just like yourself, Wolfie. He's using a homebrew conventional radio from the 1960s, I think, and it's sounding pretty good, I must admit. But yeah, I think these Panther H things, they're just annoying me a bit because they don't really cause us any problems, but once I'd heard them interfering with the shortwave broadcast signal, I was thinking there was something wrong with the way these things are being set up, and I strongly suspect that they've set the whole lot up incorrectly. As far as I know, how the system works, they're supposed to have a frequency exclusion table, which they're a frequency hopping system, and they go all over the place with little bursts of data. And this exclusion table is supposed to prevent them from using things like shortwave broadcast bands and hopefully amateur bands where we're the primary user. And I don't think they've done this. I think they can just go anywhere. I've heard them on 9 meg shortwave bands. I've heard them on the 11 meg shortwave broadcast band. They're on 40 meters, and they're on here as well. I think we're secondary users on this band, so we can't really complain, but they're just all over the place, seem to be disregarding all the frequency spectrum. But anyway, that's how it goes, and so I put in a little message to the RSGB Intruder Watch, and to my absolute amazement, they had no idea. Nobody had mentioned this system before or anything. And as far as I know, it's been going on for at least 5 years. We've had this stuff on 7 megs. Anyway, over to you, to Martin, and say that radio is surprisingly good. You do seem to have quite a fair bit of audio compression on it, and it is quite a loud signal. G3OQD in the group, G0GSR.
Yes, okay, friend, G0GSR in the group, G3OQD, and good morning to Wolfie. I don't know whether we've worked before, but you've got a good strong signal here, and as the others have said, I'm using a very old rig here. It's homemade. It's I call this real amateur radio. I've always used homemade rigs because to me that's what it's all about. If you don't make it, it's not amateur radio. It's not really there's not much amateur about it. But there you are, and it's if you want to see it, if you've got I think it's about the 4th edition of the RSGB handbook. There's an article in there tells you how to make one, and there have been a few made, and I know there are at least 2 more made because I've got them here in the shack. The people who built them have donated them to me, and I've got one just a bit further down the shack which works. I'll have to perhaps another day I'll fire that one up and see how it compares. Although I must say I virtually rebuilt it. A friend of mine built it and then chucked it somewhere in a garden shed, and he said, "Oh, you can have this," and I sort of went through it and rebuilt it, and it works pretty well. But unfortunately, he's now suffering with dementia, so I can't even tell him that his old rig is working. So, but anyway, it's good to see that it still works. This has got ALC on it, nothing else, no other sort of compression. It's all just straightforward, and it's mainly germanium, or as I call them, geranium transistors, because they give you real flower power. And that was about the era when that, of course, was popular, when this rig was built a long time ago. I think the RSGB handbook was dated about 67, and I'd had it built for some time by the time it appeared in there. It took us a while to write the article, and the friend who built it, who built the other one I have here, we sort of wrote the article together, and he was the guinea pig. He built it from my instructions, corrected a lot of my English, and that's so we knew that it could be built from the instructions. Back to you there, Dave. M0SBZ and the group G3OQD.
Yeah, Roger. I think I can detect a tiny bit of drift now. I think the pitch of your voice has gone down just a tiny fraction, Martin. So maybe just nudge it back again. Well, of course, Martin, you're a prolific home builder. I don't think I know anybody else on the radio that builds as much stuff as you do. Certainly at the RF stages. I'm not very good at RF. I'm more of a sort of a 12-volt man, if you like. So audio is the sort of thing that I can build without too much trouble. My soldering skills, I think I've spoken to you about this before, really finish at normal standard components. Once things go into surface mount, then I give a shudder and and start looking for some other project to build. But for Wolfie's benefit, Martin has built some pretty spectacular homebrew stuff, Wolfie. I hope you're well, by the way. Hope the dog's okay, and I'll put it back to you to find out. It's pretty cold up here. I was saying to Frank, Wolfie, I've got my old man slippers on this morning to keep my little toes warm. G4SSX in the group, M0SBZ.
M0SBZ, G4SSX returning, very fine, and very good morning to Martin. Well, I have built a few bits and pieces in the past, but if you're colourblind, then it's a bit of a problem, you see. And you'd be surprised there are still amateurs about who build things and repair also things, Martin. And you're correct, saying of Homebrews Radio. Yes, I know that. But there's not plenty of the old G3s about who know what they're talking about, and the youngsters nowadays, you have a problem, you see. I need a chap here who understands linear amplifiers, but not the transistorized, the valve type, because I only use valve amps. I only got the transistorized standard watt linear for 2 meters, and that's the only one I got. So there you are. It's a problem, because the youngsters nowadays with the 2E0 or M6 or whatever, a lot of them just come into the hobby doing the intermediate or advanced license, and the people who teach them don't tell them anything. They don't even know how to build an aerial. I'm the old aerial builder. All my aerials are homebrewed. My verticals are the same. I got about 5 verticals here in various stages of dismantling and testing and doing this and doing that. So that is the story. You know, I built a listen to the idiot. I've built from a kit a SDR receiver for 80 meters, and the only problem I had is the values of the resistors, because colourblind, you see. So a friend of mine finished it, and I asked him how I did, and he said he'd done very, very well. He said, I can't see any faults, he just put the resistors in, and that was that. It worked first time. So that is the story. We could do with a few people who understand about linears and various other bits and pieces. But of course, you cannot go to professional people because they charge you an arm and a leg. You know, I mean, I have broken a big valve. You know, don't ask me how I did. But one of the radio ham in Belgium has sent me a 41000 alpha valve. So there you are. They're an arm and a leg as well. And I'm going to pick it up from the Royal Mail this morning. Long over. Anyway, I'll put it back to you there, Martin. G3OQD, G4SSX in the group.
Yeah, okay, Wolfie, G4SSX and the group G3OQD. Yeah, linear amplifiers go solid state. It's far easier, and you can run them on 50 volts. You've got the choice about 50 volts or 1,000 or 1,000 or 2,000 volts. If you want to live a long time, build a solid state amplifier. They're much safer. They're much easier. There's no heater supply. There's only the 50 volts. But the thing is,
where can you get a power supply for it?
FETs, you know, power MOSFETs blow up easily. Well, they do if you don't care for them. The first thing to build is, before you build the main amplifier, is to build the controller. The controller is the thing that monitors everything: SWR, current, voltage, temperature, and if anything is wrong, it switches off. That's what you need to build first. That's what I was advised, and I say that is definitely the way to do it. And then you build the amplifier, and when you're testing it and you do something wrong, then the controller shuts it down. So my solid state to 400 watt amplifier has the same pair of MOSFETs in it as when I built it, and the spares are neatly tucked up in a spares box. Quickly to you there, Dave, something I forgot to mention about, you said about aerials that have to be large and up in the air. Well, they do. It's physics. I did study that, and it's all to do with capture area. Now, you can't really get away from these small aerials, but they're always compromised. And you also mentioned audio, loudspeakers and things, and that's another case in point. A good hi-fi speaker generally needs to be a certain size to sound any good. And the modern trend with these little shoebox things, they're a compromise. So they can produce a lot of noise, but quality. If you want to produce low frequency sounds, then you need something that's going to shift a lot of air, and it needs to be large. So there you are. Anyway, I don't know whether we've got out of order here, but I don't seem to have... did we hear Frank? I'll put it back to you there, Dave, because that's what I was supposed to do to keep the thing. M0SPZ and the group G30QD.
Yeah, Roger. G30QD with G0GSR. Mike 0 Sierra Bravo Zulu returning. Wolfies had to rush off, Martin. He just said cheerio to everybody whilst you were talking there. As regards to building, the problem I would have if I was building a solid state amplifier is soldering those transistors and things to all those heat sinks. That would worry me to death. Anyhow, so I've lost track a little bit. Where were we? Panther H. I was actually sidetracked because I saw a couple of Panther H clicks on the screen, and I just clicked up to 40 meters to see if there were any up there, and still nothing up there, Frank. So I think it's nowhere near as busy as it was on Friday. Was it Friday or Saturday? Oh no, was it Sunday, Saturday or Sunday? It might have been yesterday. There's one down there now. Yeah, right, so I'm waffling because I've forgotten where we were. So I'm going to put it round to you, Frank, and you can bring back some order to the chaos. G0GSR in the group, M0SPZ.
Yeah, okay, G0GSR. Well, Daz is doing his best to distract me at the moment. He's talking to me on Skype text and describing his metalwork that he's been doing. He's just bought himself an electric winch to raise and lower his mast, which is quite a big thing, actually. I think it's a lighting pole which he's got in his back garden. And he has a manual winch on it at the moment, and he's just bought himself an electric winch to help the raising and lowering of it. But he's had to weld up a bracket system to mount it's quite a large winch onto the pole. But yeah, Wolfie's gone anyway, so we can't talk to him about his valve amplifiers. I think he's sold on the valves. Just a traditional thing, isn't it? So there's nothing wrong with valve amplifiers. They're fairly simple and quite reliable, really, for what they are, but a little bit wasteful of power nowadays. I've been in the broadcast industry. I don't know whether Martin realises that, but I used to deal with some very big power amplifiers, and it was interesting to see the development where the valve and solid state division was. At one time, the valve amplifiers were cheaper to buy around the 1 kilowatt region. And it's been gradually going higher and higher and higher until, we recently installed a 60 kilowatt solid state broadcast transmitter. And you can actually buy any power broadcast transmitter now. They just scale up the number of units up to as many hundreds of kilowatts as you want. And I think the days of valve broadcast transmitters may be sort of limited. You know, even there's still some 500 kilowatt valves around. There's two in the system of Droid, which are 198 kilohertz, 250 kilowatt valves, and that's the only type of that valve that's in use in the whole world, and they can still get them. I'm just trying I can't talk and listen to that, unfortunately. Anyway, round to you, Martin. I hope you mentioned the cocky-sized filters. Yes, I remember those with the problems with the foam rubber inside them falling apart and taking them apart to disassemble and replace it. That CW is a bit distracting. G3OQD with group G0GFR.
Yes, okay, fine there. You're just tuning in onto Hack Green here. Can I hear myself on there? Hello? Oh, yes. I seem to be coming through on that as well. So this whole rig doesn't seem to be doing too badly, does it? Really, I'm amazed it still works. It's not that long ago since I last used it. Probably a year, maybe a couple of years. There wasn't room for it. That's the problem. When I put my linear amplifier, which is quite a large box, and I've got the old linear amplifier, and so this transceiver went on top of the old linear into a corner where I couldn't reach it anymore, and there wasn't room for a little power supply unit, which is separate. I made it separate so that when it was mobile, it didn't have a mains power supply in it. It had a mobile, 12-volt powered inverter. But I was looking at my shelf here, and there's a lot of rubbish on books and magazines and stuff that I haven't looked at for years, so I thought, why don't I shift all that lot off and put my old rig there, and then I can use it again. So that is what I've done. That's what I did yesterday. I've had to tighten up the screws holding the shelf, and it seems to be all right. I have to keep an eye on it, otherwise you could all end up on the floor. Anyway, I'm going to sign with you guys now, because I'm better go and have my coffee, because I'm meeting a friend, a ham friend, for a few beers, and he always buys the beer because I repair stuff for him, so that we do that sort of deal, which seems to suit both of us. So 73's one and all, and perhaps I'll come on another day if that's all right, and I'll fire up the other rig built by my friend and rebuilt by me and see how that sounds. It's got a tiny little microphone and very cheap looking thing, so it'll be interesting to see how it compares with this short. This one should sound better. Back to you there, and I'll just listen round. M0SBZ and the group G3OQD.
Roger, Martin, G3OQD, M0SBZ returning to the group. Yeah, very good. Very good, Martin. Yeah, please always feel free to join us. We're always searching for fresh people to talk to, Martin. So please feel free to join in any time you hear Frank and I having a chinwag. That is annoying, Frank, isn't it? It's very. I can't hear it here in Dunstable, but so I guess maybe they've got the excuse that they can't, wherever they are, they can't hear us. But I've got a feeling that they may know we're here anyhow. As regards to antenna size, Martin, well, it's not strictly true. I've come across some. It used to be true. The analog of comparing it to speaker size. 20 years ago, I guess I would have said the same. But I've heard some miraculously good low frequency audio coming out of some very, very small speakers. In fact, I've just bought one. I bought a little Bluetooth speaker system for playing back my audio files from my tablet computer, because I don't like listening to music on headphones particularly, and that is really very, very good. It's quite small. The speakers can only be, I don't know, 4 inches maximum in diameter, and it sounds great. It doesn't sound like a little tinny transistor used to sound back in the 60s and 70s. It sounds very rich and full. So, but I guess they are long throw loudspeakers. You're right. You've actually got to move a lot of air in order to get these low frequencies. But of course, there are several ways of doing it. You can either have a very large diameter speaker that's not moving much, or perhaps a smaller one that's moving a lot. Or you can have clever sort of bass reflex designs. So I would think that somewhere in the ether there is an antenna design that means we can use it on the HF bands without having to put up half a ton of metalwork up in the air. Right, okay, well it is coming up to coffee time, so a good time to call it a day. Let's put it round to Frank, and then we can tie up all the loose ends. G0GSR in the group, M0SPZ.
Yeah, I was just listening to this slow CW actually. I got part of a call sign. You were droning it out a little bit, Dave, but it is an amateur or two amateurs in QSO, UK amateurs, so maybe they're not hearing us, or maybe it's deliberate, I don't know. Anyway, I was going to say, yeah, loudspeakers, yeah, it is something I do know a little bit about, actually, loudspeakers, and there's always a compromise with loudspeakers. If you try and get a large output power or a low frequency out of a physically small speaker, then you always suffer with distortion, and it's not something that's normally quoted in loudspeaker measurements, is distortion, but mechanical loudspeakers do produce an awful lot of distortion, maybe up to 10% for quite a reasonable one. And of course, if you drive them to great excursions, the distortion becomes quite significant. I built quite a reasonable loudspeaker system with 100mm drivers in it, and the performance of that is actually very, very good. You don't really notice the distortion, but you couldn't use them in a big hall for a party, shall we say. They're only for the living room, for a small area. That CW is really annoying me. I wish they would go away and do it somewhere else. There's plenty of spare room on the band, isn't there? Anyway, I think we're wrapping it on now, so thanks for the contact, Martin. Be interested to hear that other radio that you've got. I wonder whether it uses the standard 12BY7A and 6146PA. You said you got a driver and PL valve there. That they were the very common ones used in the hybrid rigs, weren't they, for a long time by the big Japanese manufacturers. So thanks for the contact, and I think we'll leave the CW guys to it. At this rate, they're going to take all day to have a QSO at that speed. Cheers for your QD with M0SPZ from G0GSR.
Yeah, did you get that, Martin? Oh, I think we've lost him, Frank.
Yeah, I guess so, Dave. Anyway, we'll leave the CW guys to it, shall we?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the one nuisance. Never mind. Well, we've finished anyhow, haven't we? All the best then, Frank. Cheerio to you and to the web. Let me just check to see who's on the web. Daz, of course, and Baz and David, and I'm here too. Whoever you are. A very good morning to all of you, and catch you tomorrow, Frank. G0GSR, M0SPZ. Bye.
Yeah, all received to you as well. You're just sending all RX. I'm just getting a few words of this CW, but it's so ridiculously slow. Anyway, cheers for now, and cheers to you, Martin, if you're still there and listening, and have a good day to all the Web HDR listeners. This is G0GSR.
Our old mate Fred, which I'll put together.
Like, not Malaya, but some far-flung country, he's got a train timetable and all that.
Long wave and 80 metres. And before I sent it to them, I had to do a test, and that was I put the air
blowing the dust out of it down this mic, and it gets dust underneath the button.
The on the band at the moment. Name's John, Juliet Oscar. Oh, you know that. I'm running an IC7300, by the way, and the antenna's it's a 60-metre dipole, and it wasn't. So when I first called you, I got the ATU out of circuit, so I just have to use an ATU with it to. I must lengthen the legs, but I just use an ATU to tune it, so it's probably not very efficient, probably not much going up the spout, but at least the PA of the Icon rig here is seeing a reasonable SWR. Yeah, I come to QDH and fetch them, and yeah, I know where you are. I originally come from down near Staines, that sort of area. Around Heathrow Airport there was my original, where I used to originally live many, many years ago, up to when I first got married when I was about 20, 22 years old, I guess. No, 21, that's right. Anyway, so there we are. That's the story. Just heard you call in there. I thought I'd give you a quick call. Just busy deep in paperwork here at the moment, so I won't keep it too long, but nice to say hello to you there. G0 Alpha Whiskey Victor from G3 Sierra Zulu Golf.
Yeah, good, John, no problem. Yeah, good. G3ZG. G0 AWV returning. Yeah, fine on the Icon. The IC7300. Very nice indeed, and okay on the setup, and fine on the on your power levels, not too much. You're 5 and 8 with me. 5 and 8. Probably the reason I'm a little bit longer is a little bit stronger. Is I am running about 350 watts here, PEP. So the transceiver on this side is a Yaesu FT1000 MP Mark V field, driving an old valve linear, a faithful Yaesu FL2100B, which I picked up probably about 7 months back now, which was going on one of these Facebook group sites, buy and sell equipment, and I paid £300 for it. It's a lovely little linear, and it's I've got an SB200 as well, but I put new valves in the SB200, put it to the side, put new valves in this FL2100, and it's extremely clean. I was very surprised taking it apart. I was expecting a lot of corrosion inside maybe, and a few bits needing looking at, but surprisingly not had to do anything with it apart from replace the 572Bs, and it's firing on all 4 cylinders. So great little linear, really nice. So using that at the moment because it's smaller than the SB200, so I took the SB200 off the bench and put this smaller linear in place with the same punch. So yeah, just ticking over 350 watts PEP, 130 foot long doublet, and yeah, it's what we use for 40 and 80 meters, and as you mentioned a little while ago, the quad for the higher bands. I was having a little look in your QRZ page to see that you've spent a bit of time around the world, so I see the 5B call sign there as well, and I noticed down reading through talking about various bits of equipment and stuff like that, and then the G3MI, G3IMX cubicle quad. I see the quad in there. Not many people these days, John, with quads throughout the world, I just don't get to speak to too many people now that are using cubicle quads. Whether it's a fact of problems with weather. A lot of Americans say that the reasons they're not using them is because they're in an area prone, for sort of bad weather and stuff like that. So, but they're kind of dwindling a little bit. Not hearing too many people using them. Okay. Yeah, I know that you're not going to be hanging around too long, so I'll pass it back. I'll pass it back round to you. G3 SZG, G0 Alpha Whiskey Victoria.
Yeah, okay, fine there, Rick. Yeah, shame I haven't got more time. I've just realised it's gone 10 o'clock. I said I would, said to the XYL I'd be in at 10, and because we're going out phone up to Rush, but I've also got an FL 2100 here. I've got the Zulu, which I've had for a few years. And we've also worked before, Rick. We worked on the 26th of April 2013. 26th of April 2013 on 20 metres at 1929 Zulu. That was from my Cyprus call sign there. So nice to work you again there, Rick. And yeah, fine on the I got an FL 2100 here, as I say, and I'm not using it at the moment. I only use it on the antennas that are resonant. I don't have an ATU to take the power. But I also got an FL 7000 linear here, which is not working. It's sick, which got to get it sorted sometime. I had all the covers off it yesterday to see if there was anything visually wrong, but couldn't see anything burnt up or anything. Anyway, there we are. Sorry to cut it short, but I'm going to have to go, otherwise I should be in the doghouse. But I'll certainly listen out for you again. And I'm going to put some longer legs, maybe later today, onto this 60-metre dipole. I'll put another, maybe string up a separate dipole for 80, and I should be able to get a bit of signal out where I can obviously run the linear as well. So nice to work you, Rick. Thanks for the contact, or thanks for the second contact, and we'll look for you again there. I'll give you a shout if I hear you on, and we can talk 2100s or something. All the best then, and just stand by for your final. G0 Alpha Whiskey Victor, and I had you down as Cobham, by the way, from our previous QFO, but I guess Fetcham's not too far away from Cobham, or maybe you lived there at the time. Because you're close to the Leatherhead, really, aren't you? G0 Alpha Whiskey Victor from G3SZG.
Yeah, fine, John. Yeah, because I would have worked you when I was in Stoke Dagenham, which is right next door, isn't it, Cobham? So, and that's where we were living. So we've been living in Fetcham now for 3 years. 3 years. We previously was renting in Stoke Dagenham, and now we're living in Fetcham. So long story. We'll pick it up again next time around. But good to hear you again. I did look at your call sign and thought, I wonder if I'd worked you before. I didn't pull up the login with your call sign in it, and if I had, it would have come up, obviously. So good to hear you, John. Take it easy, have a good day, and we'll catch up, and we'll pick up on a few more pointers on the next one. G3SZG, have a good day, John. G0 Alpha Whiskey Victoria.
Okay, 7-3 Rick, all the best. Sorry to cut it short, and we'll look for you again. G3 Sierra Zulu Golf now clear and closing down. Bye-bye.
Yep, all the best, John. 7-3, mate.
Golf 4 Delta off Quebec.
Is anybody else? Germany 0 Alpha Whiskey Victoria.
G4 DOQ, just stand by. Oh, that should be a bit better. Sorry about that. Golf 4 Delta Oscar Quebec stroke Alpha.
Okay. G4DOQ stroke Alpha. Germany 0 Alpha Whiskey Victoria. Okay, very good morning to you. I think it's Jeremy. And I think accordingly, I think you're in Newbury in Berkshire, so just coming up on the HRD login. Yeah, no problem. And well, you had a stroke A alternative location there, aren't you? So you're not operating from home. Name is Rick, and we're in Fetcham, Leatherhead, so Surrey. Back round to you. G4DOQ stroke A, G0 Alpha Whiskey Victoria.
G0AWV, G4DOQ stroke A, yes. Thanks for that, Rick. Yes, I think I heard you say Thatcham. It puzzled me, because Thatcham is just outside Newbury. And you're quite correct. OQTH, Newbury, and down in Cornwall on holiday. And just put up a new aerial yesterday, 250-foot doublet. I had one before, but the last couple of years been getting an intermittency, the last couple of visits I should say, and I've been right through the whole system, replaced everything, and the last bit was the actual elements of the antenna, and I think that's where the problem was. In fact, I think I had a couple of problems, and I had a fly lead breaking down as well, so anyway, eventually I replaced the elements, and it's stretched across the valley. I'm down the little valley tucked away a couple of fields to the sea edge, to the cliff top. Across a very wet garden, very wet valley. The centre of the doublet's about 40 feet, so 40-45 feet. So just thought I'd fire up this morning, scan the band, and there you were. And hope you don't mind, I just thought I'd give you a quick call, just see check we're all up and running this morning. It seems to be fine, which is a great relief. And it's a sunny, grey, raining Cornish weather. Back to you, Rick. G0 AWV G4DOQ stroke A.
Yeah, okay, fine, Jeremy. G0 AWV returning. Okay, no problem. You're about S7 with me. Peaking an S8. So not too bad. Signals at this sort of time in the day are generally not much more than about an S9. It's only in the evening when things get better and the band kind of opens right up, and then you get your plus 20 signals and stuff like that. So, but yeah, okay, on holiday. I wish the weather was a little bit better. I don't know what it is with August. We always seem to we don't seem to get a good weather pattern in August. I can't remember the last August where we could say it was really, really good, which is a bit of a shame, really. But all okay. Well, at least you're away, and I suppose that's one good thing anyway. Have fun on your home location and stuff like that. No problems there. I'm running a. What's that? Oh, okay. Thought it was my doorbell. I'm running an FT1000MP Mark V field. Driving an old FL2100B linear, 400 watts. Well, 350 watts PEP, and 130 foot long doublet. G4DOQ stroke A. G0 Alpha Whiskey Victoria.
Yeah, okay, Rick, fine. Well, good signal. You get anything from 5 and 5 up to 5 and 9. As you say, the band's not good at this time of day. But QSB, running 100 watts, FT1000MP, the 100 watt version, good old standard rig. I've got a FT2000 at home and a Flex. But this one still looks good. And been a good workhorse. Anyway, I'm going to disappear. Got to move on this end, and thanks for coming back the call. I'm glad we're all still working, Rick. 73s, and have a good day. And yeah, it always rains when we come to Cornwall. Cheerio for now. G0 AWV G4DOQ stroke A. Cheerio.
Yep, thanks very much, Jeremy. I wish you all the best, mate. Enjoy the rest of your stay down in Cornwall, and we'll look forward to catching up again with you soon. Yeah, the old FT1000s are super radios. Love mine. Do love mine. 73, mate. Take care, and all the best. G4DOQ stroke A, G0 Alpha Whiskey Victoria, 73.
Cheerio, right, bye-bye.
Time ago, so that was I think £100, and Margaret said
follow. Anyway, thanks for coming on this morning. We're a bit thin on the ground, but
so I said to the chap who built the one for him, I said, you better have a completed one, and then oh dear. Anyway, there we go. But I'll tell you what, Dave, he did enjoy life. That's the main thing, mate. Over.
Well, I think he used to enjoy the walks with you, Alan. You know, plodding around, having a chat. But there's nothing quite like that, I must admit. You know, the social side of it when I get time. I still like going to the radio club and talking to the chaps. It's not always about amateur radio. You know, they cover all sorts of things. So an FT1000MP, Anthony. That's modern. This rig I'm using, I got Christmas 1969. So I've had it 47 years now. But I still like using a Pi Cambridge for 2 meters. They're a great rig. They don't go wrong very often, and when they do, I've got a nice stock of 6B86s and QQVO310s to keep them going. And they were meant for hard-working taxis and water companies, electricity boards, etc. And they seem alright. The only one I got rid of was I had a Pi Vanguard, and I donated it to the Milton Keynes Museum, and it's still on display there. That was a boot mount version, and blooming hell, did it crush batteries. And me having automatic cars, I couldn't afford to have the battery conk out. No way of starting it otherwise. I wouldn't mind to. I remember them coming out, the FT1000. You must have had it quite a long time then, Anthony. G0TPA, G3ZPA.
Yeah, I have. I think it was one of the first. I went up to Birmingham when Haydensburg in Birmingham at Canal Street, I think it was. I bought it. I sported out the one with the power supply in it. And I also bought the Death Mite, which I basically have never used. I never liked it. But there we are. Yeah, that's a long time ago there. Absolutely for certain there. And as for the Pi gear, we used to have convert those little Pi portable rigs they made there and put them where before all the regulations tightened up for aircraft use. And use them for the one channel we had for gliding. We used to use them there a lot. They were a very, very good rigs there. I just can't remember the name of it now. And there was another one that we had. I've got another one upstairs still. Another mate. That did the similar job there. But that's yonks ago, and I did have plenty of valve equipment up until last year, and a lot of it I hadn't used, and some of it I got in 1944, one of them. It's in a case. It's still there, so I've plugged it all there, Dave. But I think these all gone to a good home, so I'm chuffed. I had a Viking, the American one, the Viking Invader there. That was quite that was all valves, weird sort of effort there. Ran on 110 volts, of course, but it did work. It was quite a good rig there at times. Round to you then, Alan, again from G0TPA.
Oh, of course. There's a different twist on this, really. I bought quite a lot of Pi equipment. Because at that time I was interested in and was part of the Fire Brigade Preservation Society, and of course the fire engines had Vanguards and all that sort of thing in all the Pi equipment. So I bought quite a lot for the Fire Brigade Preservation chaps to have in their vehicles, you know, so to make it look right, you know, because they used to have a Vanguard in the back locker, Dave, you know, because they had sucking great batteries in them. And I remember using one of them when I was in, mate. But yeah, I also bought from the sporting show when it was at Springfield a number 19 set for a friend of mine. I think it was 30 quid. It had been immersed in water right up to the front panel. The front panel was perfect. And he wanted it for show in his armoured car. And he was absolutely over the moon about it, because I've got him this. I mean, it just fitted in his armoured car. It didn't matter about it not working. It was just a show thing, really. They fetch a lot of money. Well, I don't know whether they fetch a lot of money if they've been immersed in water, but it was quite rusty, really. But there you go. But it looked all right from the front, so that was a different twist at my end. I can't remember the name of a firm had a Pi thing, and I converted it to FM when I first went on 2 meters. It was rubbish, actually. And that's why I bought a Cambridge, yeah, Pi Cambridge, yeah, right, yeah. Oh, well, there you go. That's a long time ago. Such is life, anyway. Okay, back to you, Dave.
Yeah, okay. Well, I bought my Pi Cambridge back in the early 70s for 2 quid. And now, the crystal, I've got 6 transmit crystals, 6 receive crystals, and a tone burst crystal. Unfortunately, they don't use that anymore. It's CTSS. But the crystals are now worth about £13 each. I've got about 100 quid's worth of crystals in it, in a 2 quid radio. But it's still working all right, and it looks in very nice condition. I look after it. Still got the original red curly lead microphone, the basic one. If you look after things, it's all right. Except, why did somebody put the 19 set in water? That was just criminal. They are going for a lot of money. I sold 2 last year, and I got about roughly £280 for them. I've still got one more left downstairs, and I've still got one more at the museum. I'm hoping to collect it in a few weeks. And all complete with baseboard and variometer and the vibrator power supply. So I'm going to I'm getting rich. It's great. I can run my money through my fingers and gloat. Like I said, you don't believe me, do you, Alan? Back to you.
Oh, you can buy a 7300 by the sound of things, mate. Oh, yeah, get into the modern world, Dave. Woohoo!
I'm afraid that's a rude swear word to me. I only like belts.
Well, you could always put a valve on the top on it, mate. You know, just stand it on the top, make it. Dear. No, well, no doubt they're going to people that will think they're wonderful, or well, they are really good, aren't they? In a way, so they ain't going down the tip, Dave. That's the main thing, over.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I had. In the museum, I had roughly 85 different rigs. Some transmitters, some receivers. I've sold 20, well it was 27, but I got rid of one on eBay yesterday. That makes 28 gone. Still a lot to go. Oh, blast, the damn phone ringing again. Back to you, Alan.
Okay, mate, yeah, no trouble. Yeah, carry on. I'll talk to Anthony. No problem, Dave. So there we are, Anthony. We've been down there memory lane again, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. The trouble is, I wish I could remember what the name of this little radio was. This portable Pi one. It was very good.
Polly pocket phone?
I made to get the 12-volt power supply to it, so it worked properly, because they were some weird voltage. I know I made thing that was in it that worked. And I went up. There was a firm called Parnier, I think, at Stamford in Lincolnshire. Went up there and an argument about some of that. One of their he used to put ground sets in control towers. I went up and we had a bit of a go over it there. We got it all sorted out there, and he wasn't sure what the. What did you say, Alan?
A Polly pocket phone, do you think, Anthony?
No, it wasn't a pocket phone. No, people got those. I remember those. No, it was a little square box, almost like a 290 there, Alan, go ahead.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, no.
No, I cannot remember the name of it, but they were very good radios for, they were very stable and good, and for 25 kc spacing. They were excellent for radio in aircraft use there. But anyway, there we are. And I still got, I'm sure, some relays that for brand new ones for one of those Pi sets there. A chap in it was a G8 something, used to sell them in Rugby, and there used to be a Pi chap who did reclaimed Pi stuff in Littleport in out that way there past Peterborough there, Alan. I've been there. There I was on another job and called in a few times there, but that's going to bug me now until I can remember or find out what that little rig was there. Alan, go ahead.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, the QSB is sort of biting you quite hard at the moment, Anthony, so I think it's about time we gave it away, really, mate. Dave's obviously on the phone, but he only stops for a little while, don't he? So we'll... if I think, I'll Google things on Poly equipment. Yeah, if your mate would be here, old Fred, what are the names? He'd remember, wouldn't he, Over?
Oh, absolutely there. One time I would have remembered as well. And I don't think I've
time at the moment, but I just thought I'd call in and say I was around. John, just
volledig QSA5 te verstaan, Nico. Ik heb er geen problemen mee. PA0 United November Tango, PA0.
To the sun, but it's all gone. It's just dull and overcast now. We are expecting some rain. Back in again now. Change aircraft to the Navy to be using, but don't know what it is now. Where he took off and lands then.
So that's a good memory bit, really. Yeah, well, I'll bring that up on the QSO in the morning, I think, and somebody will remember, I'll bet.